All right, so we'll take it away, the power of testimonials tonight. So what we're going to cover tonight is not just other people's testimonials, but your own testimonials as well. Basically, our business is stories. We're storytellers. We get paid to tell stories. So whenever I start a new teamie off, I always try to keep it really simple for them in the beginning. All as they need to do is actually tell their stories, you know, their experience with the product. Have you guys, if you've got a pen in your hand, write it down now, UTR. So this is all we need to do. Use the product, talk about the product, and recommend the product. That's how simple it is. So quite often we overcomplicate things, but people resonate with what you say or how you say something, not with what you actually say. So you can spend all your time telling someone about how awesome our research is about heirloom seeds, and they might not remember any of it. But if you're telling your story from your heart, no one can actually come against you with that. If you're telling your story or someone you know's story, they can't turn around and say to you, oh, no, that's not true. So keeping it simple. If you're not good at telling your story, you need to practice it. Write it down, get up in front of the mirror, or do it with your upline or with a sideline buddy or someone, but just get really good and really comfortable at telling your story. So you've got a couple of stories within the business, you've got your product story. So that's where we always say, be a product of the product. If you're not a product of the product and you don't know what it's doing for you, how can you share that with other people? Become a product of the product. And then you've got your business story, and that comes back to knowing your why. So what you want to do is get really good at connecting and spending time on working out what your why is. Why are you doing this business? What is it that stirs you to get up and go out there when someone said no to you? What keeps you going? What's your bigger picture? So that can be a whole nother training call on finding your why. So with your product story and your business story, you can lead with both. So you can have your experience of your product at the start and then say, and then I've decided to do the business because, and keep them together. So never, what I really, really want to make clear, and it's come through from head office as well recently, is never, ever, ever tell anyone that JP will cure something, okay? We have our research. We have over 33 published studies. If you want to say what it does in the body, use the studies. Don't say, even if, say for instance, like my father's a perfect example. He's had psoriasis on his hands his whole life and really bad arthritis. And within a couple of months, for the first time ever, all the scarring, everything's gone off his knuckles and he has clear skin. So I'm good to go, this is what it's done for me, this is what it's done for my father, but I can't turn around and say, if you take Juice Plus, it's going to cure your psoriasis. So be very, very clear on that you're not telling people what it's going to do in their body. And write this down, because it's really brilliant to have it to say, I'm not sure what it will do for you, but I know what it's done for me. This is what it's done for me. This is what it's done for my family. This is what it's done for my friends. And even when you're sharing testimonials, don't share off someone you don't know at all. It's that first-hand connection that people listen. They know, and when you have a connection with someone and you've heard that story, they'll hear it in your voice. So, yeah, does anyone have any questions around that part of what I've just covered? No? Okay. So getting back to 2, people will relate to your emotions and your feelings and when you're talking from the heart. So the stories, as I said in the beginning, we're paid storytellers. If you're not telling stories, every single person I have seen in this business that's at the top, whenever you see them stand up and speak, the first thing they do is tell you a part of their story and relate. So, and that's where, if with your customer service, get good at gathering testimonials off your customers. get them in the beginning before they even put the product in their mouth to take a nice close-up, no makeup selfie. They don't have to share it with other people if they don't want, because most people go, oh, no way I'm doing that. But then down the track, when they're getting the results and their skin's looking awesome, you've got that as a testimonial. So that's another big thing. Don't share on your Facebook feed testimonials of people you don't know. Only do it from within your team and your customer base, okay? It's really important, guys. So the other thing of saying how people relate to emotions and feelings, also when you're connecting with people, you can't hide behind Facebook, and you can't hide behind a screen with or your phone with text messages. You will get such a better response and more connection with people if you take it offline. And a lot of people nowadays, they don't actually want to have phone conversations. They're busy. So if you've got someone like that that's still not giving you their phone number to pick up, send them a messenger voice message. So they're hearing the excitement in your voice. There's other apps you can use with voice messages as well, but they want to hear that excitement in your voice. So did everyone see on, where is it, on the picture I posted on Starting Strong tonight, of in your starter guide? I'm just going to share the screen with you guys and bring it up. On page 4, can you guys see that now?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so this is in your starter guide. Our starter guide is awesome and has got so much information in there. Get in there and actually use, if you're not sure on how to craft your story, get with your sponsor and your upline and go through it. But this is still, a lot of the big uplines, I still always hear them. I first heard about Juice Plus from, and it made sense to me because. So go in and fill this out and write it down. And since I've added Juice Plus to my diet, what's happened? So what you want to do when crafting a story and a testimonial is have your pain point first. What wasn't working in your life before you took Juice Plus? How did Juice Plus change that? And why are you excited about your future with Juice Plus? So you can see how that's got a past, present, and future with it. You want to connect in with that. And it's the same with when you're really comfortable with your story in different aspects. As obviously when you go along with Juice Plus, your story will grow to quite large. Like for 4 years now for me, I've got so many different parts to my journey with Juice Plus that I could share, but I'm not going to vomit all over them with my whole story every single time I'm telling them, especially if it's a first connection. Someone asks you, well, what have you been doing? Your skin looks great. You don't want to spend 15 minutes Juice Plussing all over them. So what you want to do from your conversations and what you've asked them beforehand, find out what their pain point is. What is it that they need in their life? Is it someone that has no energy? Is it someone whose skin's really bad? Is it someone who's a frazzled mum with kids that just can't keep up, but her kids also, she can't get veggies into them? So what I'm getting at is you're not going to turn around and talk to a PT straight up about the children's health study, yet the mummy you might. So once you find out their pain point, you can actually then relate your story and your testimonial to what their pain point is. So it's making it relevant. Share. Back again. So does all that make sense, guys? What I wanted to do tonight is have it a little bit more interactive and get you guys comfortable in telling your stories. So if anyone has any questions, we'll go through them first. But if not, is anyone wanting to tell their short, just like I just showed in the guide? Then I first heard about Juice Plus, what wasn't working in your life, how did it change it, and what you're excited about for the future. Yep. Who wants to go first? Natty, Sarah, Candy? Go, Natty. Yep.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to keep my notes handy too because it just helps me to remember. Okay, so yeah, my short story, my introduction to Juice Plus was at my prenatal yoga through now a friend of mine, Dee, and that was during my last pregnancy 2.5 years ago. And I was really keen to give him a try straight away because since becoming a parent and my husband getting very, very sick before we got married, we've been really health focused. So I was just looking for something that was going to help me maintain my nutrition and energy while I was nursing a newborn again and trying to keep up with 2 older children. I love the extra boost of nutrients while I'm still breastfeeding, even now, 2 years on. And it's prevented any hair loss and brittle nails, which can go hand in hand with breastfeeding. My energy is always, tip top. I always feel really good through the day. I don't have any energy lulls, which, is a big thing for me because I was always scared of being tired for the day. And for me, being a mum, another bonus was when I learned about the children's health study and that my kids would be able to get them for free. Myself and my husband joined and started taking the products. So yeah, that was a no-brainer for me. We very rarely get sick, and if we do, we make very quick recoveries. And even though our little family eat a lot of fruits and veggies, I'm just happy that we're, filling in any gaps while we're taking Juice Plus. And that's my story.
That's awesome, Natty. Thanks so much for sharing. And see, like with Nat telling that, who could rebut that? Who could tell her that that isn't true, or that sort of thing? So when you're leading with your story, you've got it there. You don't have to be scared about sharing with someone, and then you don't have to play the expert either and go into all the research or anything like that. You just say, if you want to know more, I'm not the expert on it, but I've got a great little video you can watch. If I send it to you, would you watch it? Or do you want me to send it to you? So, and in sticking with your story, when you bring new team on, when in the very beginning, when I first came on board, we were doing, there was like 2-hour nutrition talks, and then they'd talk Juice Plus. And I know from my point of view, I'd look at Linda and just go, I can't do that. I can't. And so Linda then would have to come and run all our events for us, because what it was not duplicatable. So if you're sticking to keeping it simple and testimonials, then you're keeping it duplicatable as well. So I'm not even sure duplicatable is actually a proper word, but we'll go with it. So anyone else want to put up their hand? Someone maybe that hasn't shared before? Is it time to, you want to jump out of the comfort zone and give it a go in a safe space? Donna? Yep.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I haven't done my story, I don't think, on here before, but I was introduced to Juice Plus by the lovely Candy a long time ago. I'm very lucky that Candy is a patient woman, because it was 2 years ago she originally showed it to me. Can you hear me properly? Yep, cool. And at the time, I was recently single again, so single mama free, and I really wasn't in probably a position to, I had a lot of other things I was dealing with, and I didn't think I had the money for JP. But anyway, Candy just gently would share with me what she was doing whenever I saw her and caught up with her, and she was always around to just check on me and see how I was going, just as a friend, which was really good. And then recently I just went, what are you doing with all those parties or selling and jar parties? I really wanted to know more about all the health and nutrition and all the things that she was doing, because I was really on quite a bit of a a big change in my life with the girls and our diet. So she came up and did a party, and from there I heard a lot more about it. So I was really interested initially because I needed more energy, and I didn't have I didn't have enough energy for all the things that I needed to do in my day. And the idea of having a bit more energy just was fantastic. And the thought of getting a heap more fruit and veggies into myself and my 3 daughters was brilliant. I mean, I can't possibly feed them the amount of fruit and veggies that I get into them now just from my groceries. So I made it a priority to spend some of my grocery budget on the Juice Plus capsules so that I know that we're getting what we need. And then Candy mentioned that there was a business opportunity as well, so it could sort of help me pay towards some of my products. So we went ahead and did that, and I've only been on it for about 4 months. So, and the girls are the same. We take it religiously, and we're noticing little changes slowly, like our nails are stronger. It's been a pretty crazy year, so we have hardly been sick, and I have had more energy, but I'm still hoping that I'm looking forward to having a bit more of that. But the thing that I love the most is just the community. I kind of like I do work for the school, so I've got lots of contact with people all the time, but I do look forward to the calls every week and catching up with people and just having a bit of adult contact. And everybody is just so positive and so supportive and really on the same path that I want to be on. So it's just nice to be part of that. That's really a big thing for me, is just to be part of a beautiful group of like-minded people. So I can't wait to see what happens. I haven't really finished writing my story yet, but that's it so far.
That's awesome. Thanks, Donna. And I know it's hard when you haven't shared, especially online. It can be a bit nerve-wracking to get out of the comfort zone and do it. But as you see, like
out of the dark.
but when you, it's also another thing. I think when you're telling your story, you do, even though you may be nervous about it at times, but you know you can't go wrong with it. Yeah, unless you're just making shit up, but we hope no one's doing that. So, yeah, you're speaking your truth. So, yeah,
people can tell if you make stuff up. So
it always comes easier and more natural. So, anyone else tonight? We've got time for one more. Go on, Brooke. You've got to take yourself off mute, honey. We can't hear you.
Oh, thank you, Candy. Yeah, so I'm Brooke, and I travel full time around the country in a caravan with my son and my dog. And I was first introduced to Juice Plus by a lady named Zoe up in Bundaberg, and she's just come across from the UK, and her sister's in the business. And we got to talking, and my little boy, he's almost 12. He has ASD, he's high functioning autism, and ADHD as well. And one of the issues that we had was him not having enough fruit and veg in his diet. He's a little bit, picky, and most of everything on his plate was white. So we were talking about that, and she was telling me about the child health study. And so I first looked into the product for him, and then I sort of added up the value of the supplements and multivitamins that were in our cupboard, and thought, I might as well get them for myself as well. Since I'm paying for him, I might as well get them for me as well. And it took a good, I think, probably 4 to 5 or 6 months for me to really see a difference. My only intention was really just to get more fruit and veg into him, because he would go for a week and not go to the toilet. Poor little bugger, and he'd have such, be so uncomfortable. And now he's really regular. But what I've noticed for him is much more stabilized mood. I think his aggression is really, he's got it under control, and he's just able to regulate his mood a whole lot better. And the Juice Plus was definitely that small change that I guess triggered us to reevaluate our whole eating habits and that sort of thing. I didn't see the point in paying to put this product into our bodies without some follow up. and that meant changing the, you know, what was in our fridge and what was in our pantry and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's I guess taken me a full 6 months before I am thoroughly on board and I see the benefits in myself as well. And I've got a list as long as my arm for the both of us. But yeah, I got really excited about it, and I thought, you know, traveling full time, I'd love some extra cash to be able to go overseas, not just to, you know, contain our travels within Australia, but to actually go overseas as well. So this is, I guess, my pocket money for you know, planning towards our next overseas trip. So that's why I'm excited about it. I get the best of both worlds. So that's it so far.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Brooke. And that's what you guys have all done tonight too, is blended your product story and your business story together. So it's like a natural progression of telling people not only has the product changed your life, but the business is changing your life too, and why you've been prompted to do the business side as well. So it's good having that blend in your story. But yeah, well, we'll wrap it up because we've got the event coming up next. But yeah, just keep it simple, guys. Keep it about your story. Don't ever, I can't stress it enough. I found out of a friend's customer the other day that she was actually told by a rep that Juice Plus would cure her son's autism.
Oh.
And I was horrified. I was just like, oh my God, we are going to end up plastered all over Current Affair like Isogenics was a couple of years ago. So not only do we not do that, it is illegal to do that as well, and we will get hauled over the coals. So please, with any of your new team you bring on, please, I can't stress it enough to share that with them, to stick to their stories and stick to the research. You know, what other company has the research that we have? So let's use that once we tell our story, and the two together, because some people couldn't give a rat's about the science behind it either. So it's picking your people. If you lead with the science, with most people, they'll switch off. It's not until they're sort of excited about looking into the product further that then they'll want to take a look at the science behind it. So yeah, has anyone got any questions before we wrap up tonight? No? I'll hand it back to you, Candy.
Awesome.
Was it?
Just take yourself, if you've got a question, just take yourself off mute. Everyone's all good. And that's the one thing I guess I really want to finish off with, and thank you so much, Suze. But, you know, when, you know, picture, even though we're individual franchises and these are our businesses, just remember that you are representing something so much bigger than yourself. You know, what you do in your business will reflect or look good or look bad on my business and Suze's business and Dee's business and on the company as a whole. So, you know, we want to keep our reputation really, really high standard, because we're bringing a high level product to the market with a high level company who backs themselves with research. So let's be the team and the business builders that have a high level of customer service, customer care, and we represent this company with what it really deserves. So I'm going to stop recording now, guys. So have a great night.